pass a local bill that I have introduced, and the purpose of it is because what is happening with Reedy Creek and the Disney folks is just horrible. The governor is out of control. He's put this committee in place that are political appointees, and they don't know what they're doing. They don't even live here. They've never served in a capacity to know, how to deal with infrastructure and even be able to provide Disney with a comfort level of the business plan, because they don't know it. So we have researched this, and that's why I want to just repeal everything that was done and put it back into Reedy Creek. Next year, if you want to restructure it, you can look at that. But right now, we got to dissolve what is creating this havoc and put it back the way it was. And in my research, we've got over 11 instances, and they've only been in operation for 9 months, and we already have 11, some very, very critical. And it just continues to grow. Every week they do something that is too impactful for people to, accept. So the actions really towards the Disney company itself is just unnecessary. It came about from them supporting people that work for them in the Don't Say Gay era, and that is not how you deal with business. You need to stay out of businesses' plan, and they're not doing that. And this is just one step. Disney, third largest in the state, and we are impacting them. Our citizens in Central Florida are paying the price. And there is no other way to take care of this other than to repeal what has been done. I hope those Republicans who had voted for it, unknowingly what might happen when they did it, that they might reconsider it and go ahead and put it back the way it was originally and go from there. So we're trying to work this legislation. Because I filed it as a local bill, and you should have a copy of what that bill says. It's a very simple bill. It just repeals what they did and moved back to Reedy Creek District. And if we can get some support on that local bill, I've got to advertise it for 30 days so that the public has an opportunity to weigh in on the bill itself. And so I'll be doing that today or tomorrow. So we have 30 days. We've got time to do that before it goes into the Senate. So it'll go to the Senate, probably Rules Committee. We don't know yet, but it will go into another committee where we will address the different reasons why we need to repeal this act that happened 9 months ago. So basically, there's no transparency. This new one comes in, no transparency. They elected an executive director with no public interviews. He's had no prior experience. He had a huge pay increase from what Disney was paying, with no qualifications for that increase. He's a friend of a friend. Is what I can tell from this whole reason for him being put in that position. None of them, I think maybe one was, I don't know if they still are, but basically they don't live here. They don't live here. So the Reedy Creek folks all lived in the district. They knew what was going on. They were aware of what was going on. The executive director, while serving in the Florida Commission on Ethics, he violated the law because he wasn't allowed to do that. He got appointed to this committee, and at some point he finally stepped down. But that he should have known at the beginning that he should not have either accepted it or stepped down. He didn't do that. So the employees, the morale of the employees, everybody said, oh, the employees just love what's going on. They do not. They have 40 of them that resigned recently. 4 of them was fired by this board. So how could the morale be high and everybody excited about what's going on? It's awful. being said is simply not the truth. The board also defunded law enforcement. Now, wasn't that a good idea? The personnel that provided the safety and security for millions of the tourists. I mean, what a great idea. We'll just take that and we won't fund the law enforcement anymore. The firefighters, they were excited at the beginning because they were promised raises and benefits and all this stuff by this committee if they would come on and support them. And what has happened to them? Zero. They have had nothing. They don't have a raise. They don't have new benefits. And now all of their freebie park tickets that they used to get has been taken away from them. So they don't even have that right now. So I can't imagine why they would be really happy with some deal that they may have made that absolutely is not coming true for them. The law enforcement is a big thing, but then they abolished the district's longstanding diversity, equality, and inclusion program. That's what caused all of this, which is stupid, because a business should be allowed to take stance on what their employees feel. And when you say, well, you can't do that, or, oh, well, I don't like that because you're some woke person and I don't even know what that is, but, it's ridiculous. This whole thing is so political, and it has caused such havoc, and a large amount of money has been spent. They're using the taxes collected from the district that they're supposed to represent to also pay for the legal fees against that district. So it's like they're not even getting their own money together to pay for legal fees. They're using taxpayers' money and the Disney money to pay anywhere from $495 an hour to $795 an hour for defense. Crazy. The taxes have increased. They keep saying it's decreased. It has not. It has increased. The budget adopted by the board was reducing, they say they was reducing expenditures on infrastructure road improvements, but has dramatically increased the budget for legal fees. So that's where we are. We're not going to build a road that they need, or we're not going to build access to the park or some other park. We're just going to get away and take the legal fees and use it however we want. And most recently, the executive director awarded a 911 telecommunication project for $1 million without bid. Another buddy of a buddy of a buddy got $1 million to provide for telecommunication services for 911. I can go on and on, I really could, but I think those are the highlights of some of the things that have happened in the last 9 months, and it will continue until we repeal it and get back to where we were, so that in the future, if there is a need to reevaluate the district and maybe put elected officials on the board or things like that, that can be done later on. Right now, we got to get rid of this mess that has been created. And this is the only way right now that we can do it. We didn't have a full board there today, but those that were there, it was unanimous to move forward as a local bill. And I don't know, some people weren't able to attend and some left. I don't know why. But anyway, in the end, the vote was unanimous. Well, I was happy about that. So then that was about it. So if there's any questions that you have after I tried to outline just a few, there's probably 11 or 12 of them. I haven't done them all, but if there's something else you'd like to ask me, please do so.
Senator, you said the whole board wasn't there, so your thoughts on those that walked out?
Well, they weren't there to vote. But we had a quorum and we voted and it was unanimous.
Linda, to quote an old movie, you sound like you're mad as heck and you're not going to take it anymore.
I've been mad since this happened, so I'm not just becoming mad. When they first brought it forward,
fired up.
Well, I'm very fired up because I'm sick of it. And there's nothing I can do but what I'm doing right now. And whether anything becomes of it, we'll see in the future. But you can't You can't stand up and just complain all the time and not do anything. I'm at least trying to do something that would bring sense back to our community and save us money and not target those folks that work and those folks who provide jobs for Central Florida, because that's who it's hurting. It's hurting Central Florida right now a lot.
But you say you're sick of it.
Yeah, pretty sick. Because it shouldn't have been done to begin with. The way it was supposed to be a local bill like I'm doing now, and they circumvented the local bill process and just took it directly to the Rules Committee in the Senate and then directly to the floor. So it never went through the process it's supposed to go through. It just went through the process that they chose. I'm doing it the right way. I'm going through the local committee. And we're going to provide this to them again. And I hope that after they see all the things that has happened in 9 months, not even a year, and they continue to happen, that they will reconsider why they want to stick with this the way it is right now. So people are going to go on the record. They're either going to be okay with it or they're going to say, let's revisit it. We'll vote for this local bill. We'll wait and see. I'm not sure. I haven't tried to poll anybody about it, but I'm hoping that once the information gets out about all the circumstances and all the impactful things that have occurred, that they will realize that this was not a good idea. This was an idea that came about because the governor didn't like something that Disney posted on their website. It had nothing to do with anything else. It was just simply he disagreed with Disney's stance. And that's not how you do business, and that's not right. It's just unfair for them to target Disney in that manner. And, so am I a huge defender of Disney? I am right now, because what I see happening should not be happening.
Senator,
So am I mad? Yes, I'm a little bit mad.
Senator, the words corruption and cronyism have been used by some to describe the current situation. Are you using those words?
I haven't used it. I don't have any empirical evidence that there's corruption, but you can see by their votes how they've impacted this district and how they continue to impact the district. And so it's cronyism, I'll use that word, because the people that have been appointed to this committee are friends, and they are not necessarily experienced. They are not experienced, and should not be on this board because of the lack of experience and the fact that they think they can just do anything that they want to do and will be supported by the governor is wrong. And yes, I'm not too happy about it, and I won't be happy about it. So I'll just continue to be unhappy and hope that when we get to the Senate, we can convince enough Republicans to repeal this and get us back to where we were before we start looking at a reasonable approach.
And that's my question would be, I know it's a Republican-led legislation, but your thoughts on realistically, I know you're being optimistic, but realistically, will this pass, you think, long term?
Well, this is a local bill. I don't know how it's going to go. I'm covering all the bases. So I also filed a bill that Republican Senator Reuters is going to co-endorse. That will be a Senate bill that's exactly like this local bill, only it'll be published in the Senate. We're not going to be able to do that right away, though. We're going to have to wait and see how this goes. But I've tried to put everything out that we might be able to use, and I don't know if and when we're going to do that, but our bill drafting was ended last week, so I had to put a lot of things out there that we may have to go to if it's necessary. So we'll see how, we'll just have to wait and see how this floats through. But I do think that based on conversations I've had, there are some Republicans that are okay with understanding at least what the situation is, and whether or not they'll vote the way I would like them to vote, I don't know that.
Senator, Republicans and Representative Escamani said you didn't have a quorum after the walkout.
Well, we did because the rules allow you to count the excused.
She is of the different opinion, which would mean your
I didn't hear that.
bill is dead.
I didn't hear that. What I got when I asked was they're allowed to use excused as attendance. So it should be, it passed unanimously. So I think that we should be fine. She could go back and look at that ruling again, but it's my understanding that it did pass.
Linda, in simple terms, you said that you repeal what has happened. How would this work? I mean, in like 30 seconds or less, how would the bill you propose, and we have to figure some things out, but how would it work? How would it repeal? How would it undo what
It just goes back, it reverts back to the original board.
It just brings all the old board members back?
Brings back how it was, how it operated before the new board took over.
So it'd be all the old board members. The old band
If they're
would get
still
back
here,
together.
then they may have to appoint some others too, but whoever was there, and they would live in the district. That's another big difference. They would live in the district.
So it'd be whoever was on it, and if they don't want to be on it, new people who live in the district.
Right, they have to live in the district, which is not what it is now.
And so I'm gonna go back with Jerry's question. Do you think this will work? The legislature has to pass this. We have a super majority. Realistically, on a scale from 1 to 10.
Realistically, whether it passes or not, we have laid forward good reason why this should not have happened. And I think that the public will be the ones that will decide whether what was done 9 months ago was the right thing that should have been done in a hastily put together legislative session, with special session. So the public in the end is going to be able to be the group that decides whether or not what we did back in 9 months ago was the right approach. So I'm looking at having this discussion in the committee. The Rules Committee has about half of the senators on that committee, so a great number of them will hear it. We are going to bring out everything that, because I've only given you some examples. There's over 11 examples of things that have occurred. And then we'll just ask for a vote and, see, do you think it should continue to operate the way it is now with these 11 critical issues? Or do you think we should take a step back, put it back the way it was, and look at the future?
On a scale from 1 to 10, what do you think?
5.
That's fair.
I'm in the middle.
You're being optimistic.
Right.
And
I'm in the middle.
But if what Representative Escamani says, indicates that you didn't have a majority.
She said that, and I think she came back and said, reiterated, if I'm not mistaken, that they could count the excuse.
If you don't, what will you do? What can you do? Next step.
Oh, the next step is I got a bill that I can put into play. We're never taking anything for granted. We're going to do whatever we can to bring this to the public's attention and get their feedback on that as to whether or not they think this is the right way to go. And that's what we need. And from the emails that I've gotten and the phone calls I've gotten, I'm pretty sure that the public's not happy at all.